Okay, well, here we are back out under the stars again. It's about 2:30 a.m. and I'm out at this location, which is an old farmhouse, which I scoped out about a year ago. It's taken me this long to get back out here again. But down behind the farmhouse, down the back here, there's a beautiful old harvester. And that's going to be the subject of my adventure tonight. So let's get through this gate and get down there and have a look at it. Okay, now this is exciting. I've decided to set up the tracker here, which I've just done my polar alignment, and I've put the Nikon D750 on here with the 50mm f 1.8. Now, it's a little bit different because I'm actually going to be doing a time lapse. Now, that's something different. So I've pointed it over to the Scorpio region of the sky over there, and I've hooked in my intervalometer, plugged in my settings. I'm going to be shooting 20-second exposures at ISO 2500 with a 2-second interval between shots. And that's just going to keep rolling through the night, probably until close to dawn. But the thing that's a bit different about this setup is that the tracker is actually going to follow the stars. So the stars are not going to appear to move within the frame. So that's going to be an interesting development. I've done it a few times before, but I'm excited to see what we come up with. So let's get it going. Okay, well here we are at this fantastic old harvester. It's a really old one and I love the look of this one. It's been a really hot day here today, 40 degrees Celsius we had. So it's the Australian summer, it gets pretty hot. It's still about 24 degrees now at about 2:30 a.m. So, you know, that's what we get out here. So this old girl, it's been sitting here, for, as you can see, for quite a long time. Now I'm really keen to get it here in this position. Thankfully the farmer here has dragged it out away from all of the trees over there, which is absolutely great. Now I did make contact with the farmer, by the way, and they were very keen for me to come and shoot this old harvester, so here I am. Now the Milky Way is rising up in the eastern sky over there, February at the moment, so this time of night the Milky Way is coming up in the east. We've got a few planets over there. I can see Jupiter and I can see Venus and I think Saturn down there behind that tree over there. So there's a fair bit happening in the sky. I've got a couple of options that I'm going to be shooting tonight. Firstly, I'm going to do my fine art light painting, which is what I always do for most of these sorts of things. That means lighting from different angles. Now, the other thing I'm going to do is do a bit more stacking. So I'm going to shoot a number of exposures for the background night sky, and I'm going to shoot them at different exposure settings, which I'll run through in a minute, and then blend them together later on with Lightroom, Sequitur and Photoshop. So looking forward to seeing how that goes. Okay, so I'm going to shoot this with the Nikon Z6 with the Nikon 20mm f 1.8 lens. It's pretty much my favourite go-to combination. And so what I've got, set it up on the tripod here fairly low down so I can get a good angle on the background sky and get a little bit of this foreground here in the grass. There's not much grass out here, but what there is. Now, my settings. I'm going to shoot a number of different options here tonight because, as I said before, I'm going to do some stacking with Sequitur, and I want to experiment a little bit with that. So one of the options I'm going to be shooting is at 10-second exposures at f2.5 at ISO 10,000. Now that's a pretty high ISO, but this camera handles a high ISO really well. But the main reason I want to shoot it at a high ISO is because I'm going to experiment with the stacking software. So that's the whole point of Sequitur. It's to stack multiple layers, one on top of the other, to get rid of the noise. And it works quite well, and hopefully it works with this one. I've never shot a lot of images at ISO 10,000 before. I've also shot a few at 15 seconds at my more standard settings at ISO 6400, you know, more single, so I can just experiment and see which one looks the best. There's no point going out and doing exactly the same thing every time. I think it's good to try new things and try and push the boundaries a little bit. So that's what I'm going to be doing here. Okay, so just scrolling through a few of these images I've just taken, and there's 10 there, I think, of the background sky, and that's at ISO 10,000, 10-second exposures, as I mentioned before. It looks pretty good there at the moment. F2.5, so this is with a 20mm f1.8 lens. Looks good. Okay, so I've got all the background shots done. Look pretty good on the back of the screen. The next job is to do the light painting on the vehicle here with my trusty LED Lenser P7.2. I get a lot of people asking me about torches and lights and what I use for my nightscapes. I do have a video which you can check here above talking about the torches and lights that I use, but I will be doing some more videos in the future talking about lighting, because I think it's one of the hallmarks of my work and it's something a lot of people are very interested in. But anyway, let's get going, and I want to show you this vehicle, the way I light it up, so let's do that now. Well, I'm pretty happy with how that's gone so far. The lighting looks great. It looks fantastic on the back of the screen of the camera, so that's what I'm after. Now, the time lapse is still going over there with the D750. It's been going for a couple of hours already. I'm going to leave it going for a bit longer. We're not that far off dawn approaching, so I'll leave it going as long as I possibly can. In the meantime, I might just grab myself a cuppa and relax just for a bit. Okay, so here we are back at the tracker and the time lapse. Now, it seems to have worked really well. Only problem is the sky started to get a little bit too bright, and probably the last 30 or 40 frames are just way overexposed because I didn't have any ramping or anything like that happening. But the tracker itself was still tracking the stars up there quite nicely. So I'm pretty pleased to see how that's going to come up. Well, as you can see behind me, the dawn is certainly approaching, and it's not far now until daylight. So another hot one on the way, I think. So we're going to say goodbye to the old harvester here. It's been a good time here under the stars, and the time lapse over there. I'm pretty pleased with how everything's gone. If you'd like to make any comments or ask any questions, feel free to do so down below. I'd love you to do that. And if you feel led to subscribe to the channel, if you'd like to see more of this type of content, I'd love you to subscribe. Feel free to do that as well, and hit the bell so you get notifications when a new video comes out. And I'm really keen to keep bringing new videos and this type of content. So let me know your thoughts, and in the meantime, I'll see you under the stars again soon. Bye for now.